Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of The Alpha, the show where we talk about the latest, hottest topics in the world of pop culture and sports. I am your host, Jayden, and I wanted to take this time to welcome you guys to another episode. I also wanted to take the time to give a shout out to all of the fathers out there. I hope everyone enjoyed their Father's Day. Families who have their fathers in their lives or those who have sadly passed away and gone. Either way, I hope you guys celebrated your fathers, reflected back on their legacies, and I hope their day was filled with laughter and love. But today, I got some great topics for you guys. We are going to talk about Kevin Durant and his potential trade destinations that were reported by Shams a couple of days ago. We're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani making his pitching debut tonight for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We are going to talk about the Thunderbolts in a recent article that came out by Variety suggesting that it flopped, but I'm going to give my overall reason why. And lastly, we're going to talk about a big trade that happened in the NBA and why Giannis might end up costing a lot of value. But more importantly, guys, I hope you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you guys like the podcast and share the podcast to those around you. As well, follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But without further ado, let's hop into the show. Kevin Durant is a phenomenal basketball player. He is one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk the face of this earth. In some, he is a top 10 player of all time. To some, he is considered the greatest shooter of all time. But he's had a rough walk since he departed from the Golden State Warriors. He has struggled to win a playoff series since he departed from the Warriors. He has been on the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns. And as of today, he is seeking a new team and finding a new trade partner. There was a report earlier last week from Shams that suggested a couple teams that were interested in Kevin Durant. Those teams were the Rockets, the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Heat, and the Knicks. Kevin Durant would then go on to state these teams exactly where he wanted to go to a couple of days ago as of Saturday. And those are three teams: the Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets. The big question is, where should Kevin Durant go? And I have made this argument, and I'm going to state it right now. I think he should go to the San Antonio Spurs. Although you can't particularly go wrong with Houston because of what Ime Udoka has done over there. He's a phenomenal coach. He took the Boston Celtics to the finals a couple of years ago. Some would say even if he was part of the team coaching the Celtics last year, they would have still won the NBA title with him as the coach. This year, he is literally reviving the Rockets franchise in the way they were the number 2 seed this year, but they obviously ended up losing to the Golden State Warriors, but they have a lot of promise. I think he should go to the Spurs because of one huge reason why. The Spurs have a transcendent talent in a lot of people's eyes in Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama was an all-star this year. His season, he could have probably been an all-pro, all-NBA player if his season did not end like it did. Unfortunately, after the all-star break, he was experiencing some type of blood clotting going on in his body. And there's another player who I love, who I have been a fan of for a very long time. His name is Swipe the Fox, okay? De'Aaron Fox, a great point guard, undervalued. I don't even think he's ever even made an All-NBA team. I think he might have made maybe one All-Star team. I don't know. But he's a good player, a great piece to a championship team. You pair Kevin Durant on that roster, and you have a tandem, a trio of Victor Wembanyama, Kevin Durant and De'Aaron Fox, you're going to have a good team. They recently had a Rookie of the Year guy in Stephon Castle. I think that was his name. In a trade scenario, you're possibly going to have to give him up. And I know the Spurs might not want to, but you're going to have to. You're going to have to give up some valuable assets to give up Kevin Durant, given to what we just saw with the trade that we are going to talk about later on in the episode. Because I do believe a great team, a well-built team, has a great guard and a great big. If you have a great guard and a great big on a roster, you're just going to miss that one vital component that I argued that the Knicks were missing. That wing player. That small forward. That is always the key piece that is missing. With the Spurs, you have Victor Wembanyama as your big. You have De'Aaron Fox as your point guard facilitator. And then you're going to pair that with Kevin Durant. Coming off one of his best shooting seasons he's had in his career. At his age, given how well he's still playing, I think he could possibly be a number one option on any team. But he doesn't have to be that. That is the beauty of it if he's on the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama, he is the upcoming young gun. He is the unicorn that people thought Kristaps Porzingis was going to be. And he is going to be able to catapult the Spurs to the glory days they were under Greg Popovich. And of course, Greg Popovich has taken a back seat and gone to an executive role, and you got a young coach. That's the reason why he should go to the Spurs. And just quickly, we can highlight this about Houston. I don't particularly like Houston. You're going to have Şengün. He is a big. He's a little undersized in my opinion, but he's big. You're going to miss that point. I like Fred VanVleet. I don't love him. He's a champion. I don't want to harp on his parade. He's a great player. I just don't particularly like the fit as I do with pairing him with the Spurs long term. But this is the big just nitpick, I could say. Not even a nitpick. The big focal point behind why this is so important, okay? Kevin Durant needs to win a championship on his own. Because right now, he has a tainted legacy in a lot of people's eyes. The knock on Kevin Durant is when he was in OKC, he couldn't get it done. He lost to the Heat in the NBA Finals when he was a young buck. And I think it was 2013 or it was 2012. Then in 2016, when you were favorites to win it that year, you fall to the Golden State Warriors, who went on to win the NBA championship. Then the very next season, you go and join that team that beat you. Then you go on to win 2 straight championships. And then when you depart that team, you have done nothing since then. You've been playing great, but you have no accolades. You have no hardware. You haven't won an MVP. I mean, I'm sure you've made all NBA teams. You've definitely been an all-star every year. But where's the substance at? Where's the playoff series victories? Where's the playoff wins? He did have the 1 year in 2021 toe on the line shot where he dropped 50 against the Bucks. Everybody thought he should have won it then. I still think that team could have won it then. But he didn't. He fell short. That is what this story is really about. Because Kevin Durant is 36. you could surmise that his next team is more than likely going to be his last. He's probably going to be on one more team, if not including the next team he gets on. So, in actuality, he has possibly 2 more teams that he is going to play for. I really argue he could play for 2 more, but he's only going to be elite for just 1 more. Kevin Durant is 36 years old. He's not getting any younger. Granted, he is super efficient at his age, but he's 36. LeBron has been considered a unicorn with his health and the way he's been playing. Even we can still see that the way he is playing is hard for him to stay on the court, given his age. Kevin Durant doesn't have that body stature like LeBron does. A smaller frame. And LeBron is 40 years old. I can argue that Kevin Durant has 4 to 5 great years left. Great. Many NBA analysts and people who do this for a living could possibly argue that number might be significantly less. But that is really what this story is about, okay? Kevin Durant needs to win on his own. Because right now, he has been overshadowed by the fact that he had to join a top 2 point guard of all time in Steph Curry, a transcendent talent in Steph Curry, a figure who has changed and revolutionized the way basketball is played today. You had to join that player in order to win anything. You couldn't do it with Harden. You couldn't do it with Westbrook, who has won an MVP. You couldn't do it with that guy. He is a Hall of Famer as well. Couldn't do it with Serge Ibaka, who was a great role player. Kendrick Perkins. The list goes on and on and on. KD's been on good teams outside of Golden State. When he was with the Nets, you had James Harden. You had Kyrie. You followed Kyrie. Ben Simmons, even though Ben Simmons hasn't turned out to do anything. But still, you've had these players, Kevin Durant. You still not got the job done. Then you go to Phoenix. You join Devin Booker. Great player. All NBA player. All-star. Join Bradley Beal, who has not shown up at all. He has been absolutely disappointing. But still, you still can't get the job done. Missed the playoffs just this past season. Kevin Durant has got to win it on his own without Stephen Curry. Steph Curry's done it twice without Kevin Durant, when many people doubted that he would ever do it again. Kevin Durant has not been able to do that. But let's give Kevin Durant his flowers until we get on to the next topic. If Kevin Durant does not win another championship, he is still one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. In my opinion, he's still the greatest scorer of the basketball of all time. There's no debating that. I can argue he's closer to the top 10. And I can say this because growing up before Steph Curry came along, Kevin Durant was my favorite player. I was a Thunder fan. So if anybody has the right to say these words, it is me. But he should go to the San Antonio Spurs, because I think it gives him the best chance to win. Me personally, I would probably rather for him to go to a team on the East, but the Miami Heat have absolutely nothing. Kevin Durant with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero? No. The best chance for him to win, pair it with Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and hopefully get out of that daunting East and win a championship. Let me know what you guys thought about this topic. Where do you think Kevin Durant should go? Should he go to the Heat? Should he go to the Spurs? Or should he go to Houston? Because those are his trade destinations on where he wants to go. I want to know all of your comments down below. The next topic we are going to talk about is one that I have talked about recently. I just talked about it 3 weeks ago. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was dumb. I thought this should have never happened. Given this, especially this season. I didn't even think it was going to happen this season. But we got news last night. Shohei Ohtani, as of today, June 16th, tonight, he is going to be making his pitching debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers with some caveats. Let's get to the article, shall we? The long-anticipated wait is over. Shohei Ohtani is ready to pitch. The Dodgers announced after Sunday's win over the Giants that Ohtani will make his Dodgers pitching debut Monday against the Padres. He will start, but will begin his pitching as an opener, likely throwing just an inning or two. He is recently coming off of Tommy John surgery in September of 2023, and he signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers in the 2024 season. When I tell you guys, when I saw this news this last night, because I watched some of the game, I saw Pages hit an absolute missile to center field after he just hit a missile to literally the pitch before. Hit a 3-run shot to give us the lead and ultimately win us the game. And I saw this news come out of them saying that Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the bump tonight. Given it's only 1 or 2 innings, but I don't care. I made this argument. This is the worst decision for the long-term health of Ohtani and the Dodgers championship aspirations. I've said this on numerous occasions. Your best ability is your availability. Okay? I tried to put a little sauce behind availability. The Dodgers are not winning anything without Shohei Ohtani. Okay? I know in the World Series, if I remember correctly, I think he was out maybe a game after he had that injury to his arm sliding into second base. I want to say he did miss 1 game. And they were able to ultimately go on to win the World Series. But still, in a whole playoff run, there's no way that you're winning anything without Shohei Ohtani. It's not good for your marketing. And I know this is a marketing decision. Okay? It is, in my opinion, the only reason why they're making this move. Because, there's nothing better than having a player like Shohei Ohtani, who has been compared to Babe Ruth because he is an elite pitcher. He's averaged under a 3 ERA for the majority of his career. Even in 2022, the year before he hurt his UCL, he had a 2 ERA. So he is an elite pitcher. But he has an elite bat as well. And it was on full display last season. He was with the Angels for 4-ish years. I don't know the exact number. And then in his first season, Tom Brady-esque, with his new team, he goes on to win a World Series championship without stepping foot on the mound. Did not throw 1 single pitch all season. All he did was put his big behind, put the elbow guard on, put on the ankle brace, whatever these cats are wearing today. Look, I had stopped playing baseball. I graduated in 2022, so I was getting ready to leave the sport and graduate when all this new accessories were coming out. Okay, it wasn't a thing when I was playing, but still, and that the bat and all of that skill and ability that he has and hit the baseball. That is how they won the World Series. Because I named out the Dodgers pitching rotation in the last video. They're stacked, but they're hurt. For some reason, the Dodgers, for the life of me, keep getting the injury bug when it refers to their pitching rotation. I will never understand why. Who is the training staff for the Dodgers when it comes to just their pitchers? Because because for some reason they are never healthy. I don't know why. Dodgers organization, get it together when it comes to the health of the pitchers. I can't take it. We need everybody. We need Blake Snell. We need Dustin May. Kershaw, I love him, but Jesus, he's washed. Okay, we need Glass now. We need everybody. Yamamoto. All hands on deck. But still, that's besides the point. This is just a horrible decision. Why in the Dodgers would you even chance Ohtani hurting his arm? Because he's going to be out a whole year if he does. Tommy John is very serious. If I remember correctly, Dustin May on our team had Tommy John. And I think he ended up hurting it again. And you can say Walker Buehler, he had Tommy John as well. And he was able to come back for us. And he gave us the game-winning pitch to win the World Series. But still, I just don't think it should be a risk. Granted, you're doing it for marketing reasons. You're doing it for TV. Get them on live television. Okay, you're the Dodgers. You just won the World Series. You're going to be on live TV anyways. You're going to get live television games. I get it. More butts in seats. Knowing the fact that a fan of the team, of the Dodgers, and a fan of the enemy team, figuring out and finding out, oh, Shohei Ohtani is pitching and hitting tonight. Oh, we're going to go see that. More butts in seats. I get it. That's the ultimate goal. But in the same breath, the majority of your fans are still going to go see Shohei Ohtani if he's in the hitting lineup. I'm from North Carolina. I think, speaking of Father's Day, I was thankful for my father as a birthday gift to me. He took me to LA to go see the Dodgers. The amount of people that were there of Asian descent specifically was mind-blowing. They even have Asian restaurants in the stadium. The Shohei Ohtani effect is already in full display. Is the minority little bit of seats that you're going to get by putting Shohei on the mound worth jeopardizing winning a championship and Shohei Ohtani getting hurt? That is the biggest problem. But I digress. I'm beating a dead horse. I can only say my personal opinion, but the Dodgers, as of tonight, is strolling him out there for 1 to 2 innings. I know, even although I'm arguing it is marketing, they're still probably doing this as well because their pitching rotation is hurt. And I totally understand and I totally get that. But still, Shohei Ohtani should not pitch for a good while. I would argue at least 3 years, maybe. And another argument you could make as well, that you don't want him to not pitch for a majority of time, get rusty, and lose his magic that he had as a pitcher. And I totally get that. It's different from practice than being in the game. Shohei Ohtani has not pitched since 2023. It is 2025. If I'm making a suggestion that I am making right now and saying, hey, Shohei, let's not pitch for 3 years. So you're talking about it's going to be a 5-year window since he has pitched the baseball live. That's tough to do. I get it, but still, I think his bat is more important. What do you guys think of this news? What do you guys think of the news of Shohei Ohtani getting ready to pitch tonight? All of my Dodgers fans out there and all of my baseball enthusiasts who are watching, what do you guys think? Should he pitch or should he not pitch? Do you agree or disagree with me? I want to know all of your comments down below. Moving on to our very next topic. A movie that I, to this day, do not understand why so many people liked. Critics and media Well, I could see why the critics liked it, but the audience, majority of the audience liked it and loved it. I don't understand it, but they did. There was news relatively that came out that stated that the Thunderbolts needed to make $425 million at the box office to pretty much break even. Okay. As of today, I want to say that number that they are at is only 378. Okay. So as of right now, the Thunderbolts lost Marvel money. We all knew this was going to be the fact. But Variety came out with an interesting article that I want to get with you guys, read it, and pretty much dissect it together. Let's get into it. Days after Thunderbolts hit the big screen, Disney CEO Bob Iger was feeling celebratory. He publicly touted the comic book adventure as the first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy, referring to the film's positive reception from audiences and critics. 6 weeks later, Thunderbolts has cratered at the box office with $371 million globally. It's one of the lowest grossing installments in all of Disney Marvel's cinematic universe. If this is the second coming of Marvel, the superhero empire might need another reboot. This is an interesting part of the article. At least February's Captain America Brave New World and 2023's The Marvels and Ant-Man the Wasp could blame their disastrous grosses on terrible reviews. Thunderbolts had enthusiastic word of mouth, but is yet to climb out of the red. Suggestions there's a new ceiling for superhero movies that aren't based on marquee characters. My lord, was this article not preaching the gospel? Because I've said this in my recent video podcasts when I talked and discussed this film. I never thought this movie was going to do good because of the characters. Prime example reason why. I am an MCU fan. Grew up in the golden age of the MCU. First movie, Iron Man, 2008. I was 4 years old. I remember when I was a kid, Avengers came out. Opening night, I sat on the very bottom row. This was back then before when you got your movie ticket, you couldn't pre-order your movie ticket. You had to get there early to get a good seat. I got there at a pretty decently early, and I didn't get a good seat. So I've been around for a while. You're not going to get C-list characters in movie seats. Okay? And let me rephrase that to this term. You're not going to get C-list and D-list characters to get people in movie seats. You got somebody like me. As I said, been around for a long time. I went to go see this movie because you marketed it to make it sound like and look like that the Winter Soldier was going to have a prominent role in the film. And I said it in my movie review that I made. It felt like Winter Soldier was useless. It felt like if you would have took him out of the movie, it would have been like, okay, fine, whatever. Like he had no significance to the movie at all. He was mainly the reason why. I don't even know. Now that I think about it, I mean, what significant did he? What is anything significant that he done? Capture him and have a heart-to-heart with him, and the Thunderbolts convince him to go help them out and defeat Sentry and stuff. I guess. I don't even know. What did the Winter Soldier even do in that film? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then when you walk into the theater and you see the movie, you find that out, and it wasn't good. Okay? Yelena's cool. She's okay. Red Guardian, I think he's a bit overrated. My favorite is the off-brand Captain America guy. U.S. agent. I hate Taskmaster. Ghost chick, she's okay. Sentry was cool, but still. And then they tried to market the movie The New Avengers, which I thought wasn't going to work and which I thought personally was a bad idea. You went from a team of we're just going to talk about the regular Avengers that featured Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Hawkeye, Thor, and Black Widow. The Avengers. And then we get a film that is titled The New Avengers, starring Yelena, the Red Guardian, Ghost, U.S. Agent, and I guess Sentry with no powers. And am I missing anybody? Bucky, I guess, who's just there to be there based off this movie. What? Some idiots out there, and I don't want to use this term for majority of people, but some people who don't have a brain could have just said that, be like, oh, the new Avengers, yay, let's go see what this is. But majority of the people who are fans of Marvel and know of Marvel, like me, who looked at that and said, these are the new Avengers? What? What do you mean? Whatever. And this puts into the argument what the article said. You're not going to get a lot of money or make a lot of money and get butts and seats unless you put the marquee characters back in there. And I have argued that there needs to be a reboot. And there has been a lot of rumors and a lot of information that's been coming out lately that possibly suggest at the end of Secret Wars that reboot is possibly going to happen. Because your A-list characters need to be your focal point. When you think of Marvel, who do you think about? Steve Rogers, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, Thor, Black Panther. Those are your guys. Okay? We live in a Marvel Cinematic Universe at this moment that features a Sam Wilson Captain America, no Iron Man, a Hulk that is absolutely garbage, not Savage Hulk, Smart Hulk, terrible idea, haven't had a good interpretation of Hulk. Don't know what you have an okay Spider-Man. Coming off a Thor that had a bad iteration of Thor. Black Widow's dead. If I haven't said already, Iron Man's is dead as well. Hawkeye don't know what he's doing. And do you have a Black Panther that is Shuri and not T'Challa? That is your MCU. Does that sound or just speak Marvel to anybody? If I was a comic book reader and I was a casual comic book reader, granted the hardcore people are going to buy any type of Marvel comic they get, but if I'm just a casual guy who just likes the heavy hitters, I'm not going to buy a Sam Wilson Captain America comic. I'm not buying a Shuri comic. I'm not buying a Smart Hulk comic. I want the real deal Holyfield. I want a Chris Evans Captain America comic. I want an Iron Man comic. Tony Stark. I want a good Thor comic. I want a T'Challa Black Panther comic. Same thing goes for animation. All types of media outlets. And it refers to the movies. Because your last movie that featured a prominent Marvel character, you made $1 billion. Deadpool and Wolverine. Hello. Thunderbolts was a TV worthy model. Okay? Make a TV show out of them. Fine. Whatever. But still, there's no reason why these characters deserve to be on the big screen. Okay? That's just the moral of the story. Marvel did a good job in the past. You got a character like Ant-Man to be on the big screen. Congrats. Is there anyone else? You got the Guardians of the Galaxy to get on the big screen. But the only reason why that worked because James Gunn was such a great filmmaker and the cast was brilliant that it was able to work. And it was coming off banger movies, and it was like, man, this is a Marvel movie in this universe? I want to go see that. What movie have you made in the past 3-4 years, to where a fan can say, look at Thunderbolts, without, oh, this is a Marvel project? I want to go see that. When you've had movies like Captain America Brave New World, The Marvels, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and the list goes on and on and on. Okay? Because I've said this. You're about to have characters who are generally beloved by Marvel audiences in the Fantastic Four. Historically in theaters, though, these movies have not done well. For some odd reason, I don't know why. They are the founding fathers, to say the least, of Marvel, the IP, Marvel Comics. And if this movie does not do well, this article emphasized it. You got to go back to your marquee characters. Finish it out after Secret Wars, clean the slate, bring back Iron Man, bring back Captain America, recast them. And I know this is what Marvel is probably thinking at the moment. It's going to be so hard to recast after what Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and Scarlett Johansson and all these people, what they have done to this role. Same thing with Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. It's just not going to be the same. I get it. I have been on that. I've been one that has said that, and I have been on that side of the argument. But in the same breath, would you rather adventure on with more stories? Because it's Marvel Comics. There's an abundance of stories to go for and go after. Go on an adventure with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and all these guys as the focal point of a Marvel or just a Marvel theater project with a different actor? Or would you rather continue to do what you're doing now, continuing to lose money on every daggone film that you get put out in the movie theater? I don't want to hear nothing about the state of the movie industry, and movies is making money. You just made $1 billion 2 years ago with Deadpool, last year with Deadpool and Wolverine. Lilo and Stitch is about to make probably almost close to $1 billion. Sinners. There's been a lot of projects this year that has done well. Minecraft. People are seeing movies if it's worth watching. Thunderbolts, when you first looked at it, was not worth watching. That is something they got to get in their head. And that is something that Marvel is going to have to learn. This article emphasized what I knew was going to happen, why I thought that it was going to flop, and it suggests what Marvel should do. What do you guys think about this article? Do you agree with the article? Are you shocked that Thunderbolts flopped? Do you think they should bring back the marquee characters? I want to know all of your comments down below. For the very last topic of the day, I foreshadowed it earlier on when we talked about Kevin Durant, with the possibility of Kevin Durant being traded and having a lot of things going on with just compensation and all that. We had a trade yesterday that was absolutely made no sense, in my opinion. The Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. Reported by Shams Charania. We witnessed last year where Mikal Bridges was traded for like 6 first-round picks. And this is just a problem with the trade model. We're just going to get in depth with it. Just overall for Desmond Bane, he's a good player. He's not great. Never been an all-star. Never been an all-NBA player. He's averaged 17 points per game, 47% from the field, 41% from three. Great role player. How, given that resume, how is Desmond Bane worth 4 first-round picks and 2 players? How did we get the market value to this, NBA? Could you only imagine what Giannis and the Bucks are thinking right now? Giannis could legit go for like 10 first-round picks. 10. And I get it. Draft picks are not that important as they are in the NFL. Okay? A lot of people in the media say it. Like, the likelihood of draft picks hitting in the NBA nowadays is not high. Majority of organizations, you hit on a draft pick who is actually on your current roster right now, who is someone you can actually win a championship with. And what do you do with your future first-round picks? You try and use them, get trade assets, and be able to trade for big marquee players. But this trade makes no sense. From the Magic's point of view, I mean, you got rid of Cole Anthony, who has been a disappointment to say the least. North Carolina guy, he was pretty good in college. He's never been able to translate his game into a transcendent way. So that was that. You're pairing him up with Paolo Banchero, who is a stud in the making. Great basketball player. Mo Wagner. I don't see where you give up four first-round picks for Desmond Bane. I could understand the 2 players. I get it. And maybe just 1 first-round pick. But 4 and 2 players? I'm sorry. I don't see what any person with a right state of mind, NBA owner, just looks at that GM and just be like, yeah, that's a good trade. I just don't. For the Grizzlies' point of view, what does this say about Ja and Triple J? You can build around those 2 players, because I just stated earlier about how I like the idea of you able to build a championship roster on having a great big and a great guard. And that is Giannis and Triple J. Both have... Triple J has been an All-NBA player. He's been in discussions for the Defensive Player of the Year award for many times. He's been an All-Star. John Morant's been a 2-time All-Star, All-Rookie, All-NBA, Rookie of the Year, considered the face of the league for... He's been in that conversation before. But why stay? Because all that stuff going on with John Morant, where they got rid of the coach, Taylor Jenkins, after being 3rd in the West at the time, just this past season. And John Morant complained about the changes, and there was an article that surfaced about the ownership thinking that Jenkins didn't maximize John Morant's ability. And if you're John Morant, you're just sitting here thinking, we just got rid of Desmond Bane, good player. What are we going to do with it? Unless we go out and get another wing guy, get in the Kevin Durant conversation or something. What makes this trade worthwhile? Why should I stay? Obviously, that's got nothing to do with, that's not in Ja's hands. Because I don't think, given that Ja has all of them accolades to his name, I don't think that Ja Morant has that type of dictatorship and leverage in a trade conversation because of his past, because of his injuries. So he wouldn't have a bigger market than what he probably thinks he would. Obviously, with the off-the-field stuff with the gun things and all that. So, yeah. And the same thing with Triple J. I mean, he could ask for a trade, but still. But this trade was nuts. And this puts into discussion, what could Giannis and KD go for? Whenever Shams gets the details together and gets ready to put up a report that says Giannis has been traded to such and such, if Giannis decides to leave, because of right now, as of today, I think there was an article that came out that right now that says that he is undecided for his future still. But we know KD is leaving. KD could go for 7 or 8 first-round picks, and Giannis could go for 10. Because KD is older, but yet he's still valuable. And Giannis is young in his prime. And you know what Giannis could go for if people like Desmond Bane, no disrespect to him at all, is out here going for 4 first-round picks and 2 players? If I am the Bucks, I'm charging the absolute premium. Same for the Suns. Because when Kevin Durant, the Suns have to get back assets that they got for having to get Kevin Durant from the Nets. And hopefully find somebody to pair up with Devin Booker. Because you don't want a situation where, I mean, they had to get rid of DeAndre Ayton because he never developed like he needed to do. Didn't want to sign him to a long-term deal. And then you're just going to have Devin Booker just sitting there. And granted, it's the Suns' fault. They were able to not capitalize on getting a championship against Giannis and them that year with Chris Paul and Devin Booker at the helm with Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, great roster. It is funny how we're having a conversation surrounding a team and a trade like the Grizzlies and the Magic. And we're talking about Kevin Durant and Giannis, who played for the same franchises that we just talked about, starring Giannis and Devin Booker. It's wild. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. This trade is insane. It makes no sense to me. I guess given from the Magic, they have urgency and aspirations in the East because we've seen the mediocrity going on in the Eastern Conference. The future of the Celtics is not bright. They got to get rid of a lot of players. Shams Karania has hinted around to this, and Brian Windhorst as well. They have hinted around to the fact that that the Celtics have a lot of things going on this offseason that they don't want to do, but they got to do. Who knows what Cleveland's going to do next year? They're going to make a search for it. But outside of that, you don't see a situation. The Knicks will be the same. They're going to have a brand new coach. Who knows what they're going to be? That's it. Who else do you have to worry about? The Miami Heat ain't going to do anything. So the Magic are saying, we got Banchero, get Desmond Bane, Jonathan Isaac, and everybody else. Solid roster, Wendell Carter, and we try and make a run for it. But still, I still think they need some pieces. I don't see where this move puts them over the top in no sort of way or fashion. Because I like Desmond Bane, but still he is not this key piece that's going to propel them to championship level. From the Grizzlies' point of view, what do? You got a new head coach coming in. I don't know if they're keeping the intern head coach or I don't know exactly what they got going on with that. What you're going to do with Ja. Do you consider trading Ja? Do you consider trading Triple J, which I don't think you should do. You got to keep at least one good player at your franchise to get butts and seats. What do you do with all those first-round picks? What do you do with the players? I mean, Cole Anthony's okay. I guess you got him for an insurance package for John Morant's injuries, and Caldwell Pope is coming off a very lackluster season. Neither one of them players are as good as Desmond Bane. I'm interested to see what's going on, and I'm interested to see how this trade reflects the future of Giannis and KD's trade value. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the Alpha Podcast. I thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below, what do you guys think about my topics and what are we talking about today? I love you all. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow the content, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the show. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity. Always, y'all. See ya.